Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, is about to explain to you just why Tim Walz being Kamala Harris's VP is a terrible idea and could potentially destroy the entire country. Before we jump into that, let's lighten the mood with some lefties losing it.
To Kamala, we have to overlook the style and look for that substance. She's an intellectual. We've seen her explain community banks, school buses, diplomacy, space travel, and here she explains cloud storage.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right? Mm-hmm. It's no longer in a physical place.
And there'll be more lefties losing it with my next guest. Now, we know the two biggest issues in America are inflation and the border crisis. Yes, cost of living pressures and record numbers of illegal immigrants coming in via that southern border are top of mind for voters in the coming presidential election. So let's hear now from the Democrat nominee on how she will handle those critical issues. Here she's asked about inflation.
Let's hear it.
What else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously, very seriously.
That's the woman they're presenting as an inspired, strong leader.
So basically, she has no solution to fix inflation. She basically like, yeah, we get it. We understand that you guys are broke and hurting, but we don't care. We have to bring in more undocumented people into this country so we can get the blue votes and continue our destruction. That's why I selected Tim Walz as my VP. What? It's just insane. Absolute insanity, you know? So if you don't know, yes, Kamala Harris has picked Tim Walz as her VP, who has stated that he is the most progressive governor, basically, in the United States. And now they will be the most progressive ticket in United States history. Very, very scary. Check out what Ron DeSantis has to say about Tim Walz being Kamala Harris's VP.
About Kamala Harris picking the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, to be the vice president. We all remember the BLM riots of 2020 in Minneapolis. Those were riots that Harris egged on and raised money to bail out the rioters with the Minnesota Bail Fund. And they're riots that Tim Walz, as governor, sat back and let happen. He sat back and let the city of Minneapolis burn. That city has been gutted as a result of those riots. We would never allow that to happen in the state of Florida. So this is a ticket that really represents the spirit of those 2020 BLM riots. And you have a very vapid San Francisco Democrat, and then you've got a Ilhan Omar style leftist, Tim Walz, who has the same policies as his fellow Minnesotan Ilhan Omar. We do not need an America that represents the failed policies of San Francisco or the failed policies of Minneapolis. We do not need to see poop on the street and cities burning down. That is not a prescription for America to work its way back. And I can just tell you, as governor of Florida, particularly in that 2020-2021 period, people fled those jurisdictions, and they'd come to Florida and they would tell me about the mismanagement and about letting the inmates run the asylum and how that just destroyed the quality of life. And so I think it was in that period, you were 5 times more likely to move from Minnesota to Florida than vice versa. And that's a result of people
What does
fleeing
that tell you?
those failed policies.
Exactly. Why would we want that for America? Now, the problem we're going to run into is the media not sharing any of this stuff. The mainstream media always seems to work only for the left. So I wouldn't be surprised if none of this stuff ever really gets out to the mainstream media, which is very sad, and very frustrating. But, hopefully they'll try to be fair somewhat and have an interview with Kamala Harris and ask her some questions. But right now, it's been like 16 or 17 days since she has been chosen to be the nominee, and nobody's asked her anything. She hasn't sat down with anyone, and the people at least deserve to know what your policies are. She should have had that ready a long time ago to give to all of us to see what she's actually running on. But with her picking Tim Walz and him already saying that he is the most progressive as it gets, those two together, we will see the most progressive ticket the United States has ever seen. And that is very terrifying, in my opinion. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. I appreciate you for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe and watch the Unexplained Outlook. Peace.